So once it's in this state, we can start using chemicals, and you'll see on the wall above this little kind of changing station, we actually have some instructions, all right? Now, the main thing is we're gonna be using these chemicals right here. This ID11 is developer, stop bath, fixer. Those are the three that you're gonna be most concerned about and that need to happen while it's in this container and it's light tight. You're also gonna use HypoClear. That's gonna be after the fact to clean it. And you're gonna mix that with PhotoFlow, which usually sits over here. It looks like the PhotoFlow label is in a little bit of a state of disrepair, but this brown container is PhotoFlow. Okay, so I'm gonna start by looking at my film tank, and on the bottom of my film tank, it actually tells me how much chemistry, how many chemicals I'm going to use. So I'm using 35 millimeter film, one roll of it. I'm gonna use 290 milliliters of chemicals. So again, I found that on the bottom here. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna get containers. So let's get this container, okay? And I'm gonna get 3 containers. Now you can ignore the ones that say color only. Some of these say color only, you can just ignore that. But we're gonna get these containers. So I've got my 3 containers. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna set them out. I'm gonna set them out in order, and I'm not gonna mix up that order, okay? Developer, stop bath, fixer. I have them in the same order so that it's easy for you to remember. So I'm gonna take this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it with developer, and I'll get to that in just a second. I'm gonna take the stop bath, and stop bath, we just do 300 milliliters. Well, 290, but I'm gonna round it up to 300. So I'm just filling, and that's 300, so I'll turn that off. And then the fixer, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm just going to fill till it hits about 300, and we're good, okay. Now the developer is a little bit trickier. The developer, we use ID11, which is in a concentrate. These other chemicals, you don't need to dilute at all. They're just ready and good to go. This ID11 comes with these little charts. They're the same chart, and I also have a digital link I'll be posting that you're gonna use to determine your chemistry. So here's the chart. Here's the film I'm using. Let's say I'm using HP5+, but there's a bunch of other films on here, including Kodak Tri-X, which is actually what I just unloaded. But let's pretend you're using HP5+, since that's what all of you are using. You're using it at 400 ISO, so there's 800, 1600, you're using it at 400 ISO. So if I was just to use the pure chemical, which means 1 plus 0, that's pure chemical, it's gonna be 7.5 minutes, okay, at 68 degrees. If I dilute the chemical 1 to 1, so 1 part water, 1 part chemical, it's gonna be 13 minutes. We're always gonna dilute 1 to 1, okay? So we're gonna do half chemical, half water. So it's 13 minutes at 68 degrees, okay? But we're gonna use slightly warmer water to speed that up because 13 minutes is a long time. So we come over here to this chart, okay? Here's the temperature of our water or of our chemical, and here's the minutes. So here's 14 minutes, that's close enough to 13. Let's take that line up. You see that right there, it says 14. We'll take that line up and we'll say at 68 degrees at 14 minutes. So if we went warmer, I'm gonna follow that diagonal line that comes out of there. So if we went warmer, we would go to, let's say it was 70 degrees, it's now 12 minutes. Follow that line up a little more, at 75 degrees, it's 8 minutes. So let's try and get our water and see what temperature is at. So I'm gonna do half and half. I think it'll make sense as I do it. So I'm gonna get half chemistry. So I'll go to about 150. Okay, and then I'm going to heat up some water. Just gonna turn on the water. Here's the hot handle, cold handle. Just want it to be a little bit warm. And I'm probably gonna do this in a separate container just for ease of use. So separate container, get that water just a little bit warm. Again, I'm not looking for it to be hot. Let it go for a while. This is the only running hot water in the building. I'm gonna put it in here. Okay, that's pretty warm. It's not hot, it's just warm. So here's my chemicals. Here's my water. I'm gonna come back over here, set that down, bring my warm water over here, and I'm gonna pour my warm water into the chemistry. So I'm gonna just double that and go to 300. All right, so I went a little bit over, but that's about 300. And I'm going to put the thermometer in here. I'm gonna stir it up. I'm just gonna set the thermometer, and I'm gonna let it get up to whatever the natural temperature is. So it looks like it's about 76. It might be a little warmer than that, so I'll give it a second. But at 76 degrees, if I go back to this chart, so we've got 75, that's pretty close. And if I follow, again, so originally at 14 minutes, it's right here. So if I follow that line up to 76 and then come down, that's about 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Let's see, it's really closer to 80. So we'll do like 6 minutes, and it's okay to be off a bit, that's fine. So now I'm gonna mark that time. I'm gonna remember, okay, it's 6 minutes, and that's how long I'm gonna develop for.